Hello, everyone. My name is Ankit Puri. I'm the founder at Voiceless India. Voiceless India is a non-profit organization that operates across India to spread the message of animal rights, veganism, and environmental issues. We do multiple projects, from direct impact projects like sterilization drives to reflective collar drives to awareness-oriented projects like this webinar and workshops and a lot more. We will be sharing the links related to our projects, a few links from Sharan as well in the chat box. So do keep a tab on the chat box throughout the webinar. This entire month, which is June, it's also recognized as International Dairy Month, and hence we are running the campaign called Red Not White, Dairy is Utter Nonsense, which is a campaign to promote veganism or a cruelty-free way of living. We are having webinars throughout the month. This is our third webinar, and we will be having one last webinar on the 3rd of July. Today's webinar is called the Dairy Talk, which will be moderated by Ms. Vinita Punjabi, who's a facilitator from Sharan, and it will be moderated by Panchajanya Srinivas, who is the operations manager at Voiceless India. So thank you so much for joining this webinar. I hope it's insightful. It's something that we all learn from. And over to you, Panch. Go ahead.
Hey, Ankit, thanks. So to start off with giving an introduction about what our webinar series is, it's titled Call for Compassion, and it's a series of webinars that, Voiceless India conducts, revolving around topics such as animal rights, environmental conservation, and veganism, like Ankit mentioned. And the basic aim of these is to ensure that it's to substantiate the fact that a compassion-filled lifestyle is both sustainable and wholesome. So a very common question that people often have in mind is, does milk actually make our everyday meal wholesome as it claims to, and in fact even more nutritious, or is it just a mere hoax? So also another question that people often have is, does milk and dairy product enhance our immunity, especially in these trying times of the pandemic where health is everybody's utmost priority? So let's break through this and delve into the details of it through real life experiences and facts in today's webinar about the dairy talk. So stick around till the end, as we have some very easy and healthy, affordable dairy free alternatives for you that our facilitator will let us know about. So I'm overjoyed to welcome our facilitator for today, Ms. Vinita Punjabi. She was a banker by profession and always assumed that she was eating and living a very healthy lifestyle until cancer struck in her family. The whole experience made her wonder if there was a way to have health in her own hands and take care of her whole family. So the search led her to an organization called Sharan and their ways of preventing and reversing lifestyle diseases. And their primary motive is also her primary motive also made her realize how animals are sentient beings and shouldn't be looked as food or commodities, rather as fellow human beings. So within a few months, she transitioned into eating whole plant-based food and lifestyle, which means no oil, no dairy, not even packaged foods as far as possible. So Miss Vinita noticed a great benefit that it in fact made her, like, she lost over 10 kgs of weight, and it improved her digestion, it brought in clarity, and it boosted her overall immunity as well. So ever since, she hasn't looked back. So passionate, so passionate about talking about cooking, and now she loves to spread the message of eating healthfully and with compassion. So she's been volunteering with the organization called Sharan since January 2019 and completed her facilitators training at Sharan in January 2020. So she now conducts talks and cooking sessions at Sharan. To give you a brief about Sharan, it's called the Sanctuary for Health and Reconnection to Animals and Nature. It's an organization dedicated to spreading awareness about holistic health and ecological, sustainable, compassionate lifestyle. So thank you so much, Ms. Vinita, for joining us today. It's great to have you here, and all of us looking forward to gaining great insights from you.
Thank you. Thank you so much to Ankit as well, and to you for that introduction. So I would like to begin by saying that I have been with Sharan for the past 3 years now, but I've been following a plant-based lifestyle for the past over 5 years now, 5+ years. Like you mentioned, Sharan is a very unique organization, and Dr. Nandita Shah has founded it way back in 2005 because she noticed how her patients got better, just by changing their lifestyle and giving up things like dairy, oils, and processed foods. So she's a very happy doctor because she sees her patients get better. And she's very unique because she doesn't prescribe any medicines. So it's all in a holistic manner. I also have Supraja with me in the audience. She'll be helping out in case need be. She's also associated with Sharan for a long time now, and she is a certified plant-based nutritionist, and she specializes in sports nutrition. So again, if she can help out if need be. So just give me a second. Let me just start my screen share. We can go ahead with the presentation.
Great. Just give me 1 second before you start off. And thank you so much, Supraja. It's great to have you here. And yeah, so before I let you continue, there are a couple of things that I would request the audience to take note of in order to ensure a disruption-free discussion. All the participants are requested to keep their microphones muted and webcams switched off throughout the entire session. And I feel elated to share with you that we received an overwhelming response for this webinar from registrations received across various cities through India and abroad. And a big thank you to all the participants for submitting their specific questions through the Google form that we circulated. And we will be taking up those questions in the Q&A sessions towards the end. And along with any more questions that you guys have, and you can drop in the chat box. So feel free to drop your questions in the chat box, and they will be answered by both Ms. Vinita and Supraja at the end of the session. Yeah, you can continue. It's all yours.
Okay, thank you so much. I hope you can see it.
Your screen is visible.
Okay, great. Thank you. So thank you all for joining in, and I'm sure you all are now aware, what Sharan does and what Sharan stands for. So I'll just move on with the presentation. So today we're going to, like Panchanja, sorry.
Oh, you can call me Panch, that's fine.
Okay. So like she mentioned, today we're going to be talking about dairy. And I'll be focusing my talk on dairy being an immunity destroyer. I'm sure your attention went straight to that photo of that, the cow who's very horrified. And I'm sure most of you are aware how dairy is made. It comes from a very, very cruel place. It's torturous for them, and if you are still not aware of where dairy comes from, I highly recommend that you watch some videos, which are easily available, not only on Voiceless India's platform, we also have it on our platform. And of course, you easily find out through YouTube. You can just search in horrors of the dairy industry in India, and you'll get to know that, it comes from a very, very cruel place. But today I'm not going to be focusing the talk on that. Our focus will be on how dairy is not a health food, and in fact destroys our immunity even further. So what do I mean by immunity? Immunity is our body's ability to fight any sort of virus or infection, or even lifestyle diseases. So it's not only your basic colds and coughs, something like more serious like COVID-19, but also lifestyle diseases, which is even far more dangerous, like heart disease, diabetes, and even cancer. So let's begin. I will tell you about my journey. So this is a photo of me taken 7 years ago. So as you can see, I was overweight. I was quite overweight. And I used to go through this phase of yo-yo dieting. So I would, lose a lot of weight, then gain weight. And I'm sure most of us have gone through this. We have these ups and downs. And eventually I gave up and I said, I'm just comfortable now, and I don't want to bother with, losing weight. But at that point in time, I didn't have any health ailments as such. But I always felt like there was something missing, and there was disease all around me. Out of my 4 grandparents, 3 grandparents had passed away to cancer. Out of my 3 aunts, 2 of my aunts were already undergoing treatment for cancer. And the biggest or most shocking part or most heartbreaking bit was when my sister passed away to cancer. She was very young. She was only 28 at that point. And I was just taken back. I was really surprised, and I just couldn't understand, why the health system had failed us. And I was just looking for a way that I could have health in my own hands. If there was a way that I could prevent, cancer in any way. A couple of years down the line, I came across Sharan, and I was very, very, surprised and taken back by all that I had learned all my life. I thought I was, like I mentioned, like we mentioned earlier, that I thought I was living healthfully and I was eating right. But when I learned, what I learned from Sharan was that there's so many, ways. There's a completely different lifestyle that you can follow, and you can actually stay away from diseases. You can actually, in fact, reverse and stay away from even, your medicines completely. So I went through all the works that was available online on Dr. Nandita Shah. I even went through the works of other plant-based doctors like Dr. Neil Bernard, Dr. Michael Greger, Dean Ornish, and there are many such other plant-based doctors who recommend this lifestyle, which is called a whole food plant-based lifestyle. So I started my research. I went through tons of documentaries, tons of books, and I actually came to the conclusion that this is the only lifestyle, it's the only way forward. It's the only lifestyle that can help me, prevent, and protect my family from disease. So let me go through what are the changes that I made. The first thing I started doing was started including green smoothies. One of the most, most nutrient dense foods on the planet is greens. And that's why we recommend that you start including green smoothies. I started including more and more salads. So every day I started including more and more raw foods. Again, raw foods are very nutrient dense, and it's good to include them. I started including more and more whole grains, beans, legumes, a big variety, and I eat a bigger variety now than I used to eat when I was a child. So it's amazing how much variety is there in the plant world. I also was a non-vegetarian. I turned vegetarian overnight, and then slowly gave up dairy, which I know is a big thing for most of us. And when we hear about this, we tend to not believe that dairy is something that can be harmful for us. But it is. So I removed dairy completely. I stopped cooking with oil. Okay, now oil is something you cannot avoid when you go out, but at least at home, what I make sure is that I cook without oil. And I started supplementing with vitamin B12 and D3. Now these 2 supplements are very important, whether you're a vegan or non-vegan. It's something that you need to look after. And so I started following all of these principles, and you can see the change in me. I lost tons of weight. My skin cleared up. My digestion improved. But more importantly, I feel like this fog in my head, just vanished. There was this big load on my shoulders, which felt much lighter. And I'm sure most of you who, if you've experienced this as a vegan, feeling much lighter, much calmer, and it's all because of these changes that I made. And I was quite surprised to lose weight as well. And if you are struggling with weight, then just giving up dairy makes a big, big difference. And all of these things are important to boost your immunity. So one of the greatest benefits that I saw, apart from all of this, is my immunity went up tenfold. I don't remember the last time I got a cold or a cough. I barely fall sick. And if I do, then within a day or 2, I'm fine. I don't need any medicines. And the same is with my family. So I have 2 kids and a husband, and my husband, we're all the same. My 2 kids barely fall ill as well. And I'm so glad I don't get to see the pediatrician, as often. So, so yes, making these changes can really, really boost your immunity. And it's so important that you include more and more foods that are nutrient dense. And dairy obviously is something that you need to stay away from. And I'll explain more why you need to eliminate dairy and animal-based foods. So why should we be eliminating animal-based foods? This is a small snippet from the China study. Now, the China study is one of the most comprehensive studies that is done on nutrition. It was done by Dr. T. Colin Campbell and his son. Here he's made a comparison, very simple, just a small part, but the entire book is very detailed. And if you do not have the time to read the entire book, you can also find synopses of the book in many websites, this is just a small snippet. And here he's compared plant-based foods with animal-based foods. He's just taken 4 foods under the plant-based foods, which is tomatoes, spinach, beans, peas, and potatoes. And on the animal-based foods, he's taken milk, beef, pork, and chicken. Now, on the top of it, you can clearly see that animal-based foods are very high in cholesterol. In fact, plant-based foods do not have any cholesterol at all, 0 cholesterol, because only animals produce cholesterol. We ourselves also produce cholesterol because of our liver, but we produce enough for our bodies. But if we add on anything from our diet, any added cholesterol, that causes problems. Excuse me. Then you can see that fat is very high in animal-based foods as compared to plant-based foods. Dr. Nandita always gives this example that when you boil chicken, you see fat on top. When you boil fish, you see fat on top. When you boil milk, you see fat on top. But that's not the case with plant foods. Even cashews are high in fat, but when you boil cashews, you do not see fat on top. And this is because cashews or peanuts or any high-fat plant foods have fiber in them. Now, fiber is really, really important. Although it's not considered a major nutrient, but you should be looking at your fiber content. That's because fiber holds on to fat and it removes the excess fat from your body. It acts like a broom, to remove the toxins, to remove the fat, the excess fat from your body. So as you can see here, plant foods are, of course, much high in fiber because animal foods do not have any fiber. They have 0 fiber. And that's why when when we have any animal-based foods, including dairy, we're adding fat without the fiber, and that causes a lot of problems. So this is why you should be eliminating, animal-based foods for your health, for your immunity. And if you want to learn more about this, there are tons of documentaries and books available. So here are some of the resources that I have used for this presentation, but I could fill up slides and slides with books and documentaries that you can watch. I would highly recommend Forks Over Knives. This is one of the first documentaries that I watched. And I know a lot of our student facilitators have watched this and made them, switch over. So if you have the time, do watch Forks Over Knives. One of the most latest ones is The Game Changers. It is again a very informative documentary about how plant-based athletes, are able to perform better, and how animal-based foods, in fact, slow them down. And it's a really good documentary if you're interested in that aspect. But of course, there are many other books, many other resources that are available, and I would highly recommend that you start educating yourself, on this topic. So, what is in dairy? Now, it looks very innocent, but it's not really. I just explained to you how it is high in cholesterol. It has cholesterol. It is high in fat, and I'll share with you a chart later on showing you different, foods and the fat content, dairy foods. Of course, it has no fiber, and fiber is really, really important. Like I said, our bodies can do with excess fiber, but our bodies cannot do with too low fiber. So if you're constipated, or if you're not getting enough fiber from your foods, then you will have trouble. You'll have headaches, you'll have migraines, and you don't really know what's happening, but it's usually because lack of fiber in your diet. dairy has growth hormones. Now, whether it be organic milk or A2 milk or A1 milk, naturally milk or milk products like cheese, butter, paneer, all of that has growth hormones. And this is because, of course, we all know that cow's milk comes from lactating mothers. So just like a cat would give milk for her babies, humans would produce milk for their babies. Similarly, cows, when they produce milk for their babies, it's meant to make their children grow. So it's just a growth fuel for their babies. For humans, we produce enough growth hormones for our babies to grow from birth, to double in size within 6 months. Cows, in fact, have much more growth hormones because their babies double in size within 8 weeks. They, in fact, become full size within 18 months. So you can imagine the amount of growth hormones in this fluid. So when we put these growth hormones in our body, they obviously cause trouble because as adults, we don't need these growth hormones, and when we put them in, we're obviously causing trouble. Dairy also has pus and blood. This is because when cows are milked, their udders get inflamed and it causes, pus to come out. In fact, it's known that a glass of milk at least has 1 teaspoon of pus in it. And obviously there are regulations, but nobody looks at that. There's blood also because once that infection, gets worse, the blood seeps through. And Dr. Nandita actually had a talk recently. If some of you were able to attend that, she talks about this a little more in more detail. And if you've missed that, you can obviously get a recording from either Sharan or from Voiceless India. Antibiotics. Now, cows are, of course, kept in confined spaces. They're eating in the same place. They're even shitting in the same place, and they're in close proximity to each other. So you can imagine that disease can easily pass on. And to avoid that, what these dairy farmers do is they inject the cows with antibiotics. Now, of course, because of that, that easily comes into your food, into the dairy products, and you're ingesting those. And that's why we have a big problem of antibiotic resistance. To produce 1 liter of milk, cows, eat about 12 kilos of grain. So imagine the amount of pesticides that is sprayed on, 12 kilos of grain. So in fact, there was a study done where they found that, milk has 500 times more, pesticide content than that is allowed in India. So, you can imagine the amount of pesticides going into your body. It's actually just poison. Then dairy has urea in it. Now, urea is a chemical which is used so that milk does not get spoiled or doesn't coagulate. Of course, it's a chemical, and it's not something that you should be putting in your body. And milk also has plastic. Now, this is surprising that milk does have PCBs in it, and this is because when cows are left to graze, sometimes they go to the garbage cans, and because they cannot open those plastic bags, they would just eat the plastic bag entirely. If you want to learn more about this, there is a documentary called The Plastic Cow. It's available on YouTube, and you can watch that to learn more about that. So dairy is a concussion of all of these things, okay? And you can see, how harmful all of this is to your body. But you might think to yourself that, dairy also has calcium, it also has protein. So what's wrong with that? Calcium can be easily found in other plant-based sources. I mean, you do not need to have cow's milk for that. Cows get their calcium from the food that they're eating because calcium is a mineral which is found in soil, and you can easily find them in plant-based sources. Nuts are high in calcium. You can see almonds are high. You can see sesame seeds are 10 times more rich in calcium than cow's milk. You can easily find them in beans. Something like ragi is very good to include because ragi is high in calcium. So you can easily find them in plant-based sources. Now, the other question you might have is about protein. The same thing, I can also put up a chart about protein, but you'll easily find, sources for protein in plant-based foods from beans, greens, and of course, cows also get their protein from the food that they're eating. And nature is so beautiful that every food has protein in it. Even bananas have some amount of protein in it. So you don't really have to worry about protein at all. It's something that you can easily find in all plant sources. So the conclusion to this is that dairy cause more harm than good? And I would just give this analogy that if you're consuming dairy for calcium, it is the same as consuming Coke for potassium. Even Coke has potassium, but you wouldn't give your kids Coke the same way I wouldn't give my children dairy just because I want them to get calcium. There are many other sources that they can easily get calcium, and it definitely does more harm than good. So what harm does dairy do? So does anybody know what the leading cause of death is in India? Maybe you can help me with that.
You can drop your comments in the chat box. Okay. Someone says cardiovascular diseases.
Yeah.
And someone says heart disease, cancer, diabetes. Okay. These are some common answers.
Yes. So yes, the first answer was completely correct. It is heart disease. Heart disease has been the #1 cause of death in India for the past 2 decades, which is a long time. And we know for a fact that, it is because of an unhealthy diet, and it is because of the buildup of fats in your body. It's not only inactivity and obesity, but mainly if you're having a very high fat diet, then, you're prone to heart disease. But did you know that heart disease starts from a very young age? There was a study conducted, and they found that the plaque in your arteries start forming as young as 10 years old. So can you imagine, if you have an unhealthy diet from your childhood, at 10, you start seeing, formation of plaque in your arteries. And our bodies are so resilient that, they can take it for as long as till you reach 40 or 50, and that's when you start seeing problems. And nowadays you hear it's so common for young people to have blood pressure. It's very common for you to hear young people, in fact, dying of a heart attack or a stroke. And it's very sad because you can start looking after yourself right, from the beginning, and you can actually prevent and avoid this. And like I said, dairy has a lot of fat in it, and that's what causes this buildup. Dairy is also linked to diabetes. Now, diabetes is the second, most common problem in India. India is deemed as the world's capital for diabetes. And if you just, make the correlation, India is also one of the largest consumers of dairy. So you can see that there is a relationship between the two. You can see that, there's a problem here because our closest neighbors, they don't consume dairy, and you will not see this problem there. It's only, in India that diabetes is so prevalent. In fact, it's in the near future, we might see that every household will have a diabetic. And that's a pretty sad situation, right? Diabetes causes a lot of problems later on. You can start seeing your kidneys start failing, your internal organs slowly deteriorating. You might even get to a point of blindness. So there's a lot of problem with diabetes. Diabetes is something that they say that it cannot be cured or you cannot reverse it. But this is not true. Dr. Nandita has helped tens and thousands of people. Her team of doctors and nutritionists have helped many, many people get off their medicines completely, just by following this lifestyle and just by giving up dairy. We have seen that people who give up dairy, within a couple of weeks, they can see their blood sugars getting regular. And that's because diabetes is caused by a number of factors. #1 is IGF. Now, IGF is, again, like a growth hormone, which is found in dairy. And when you're having these growth hormones as an adult, it causes problems. Of course, dairy has excess fat. Fat clings on to your insulin receptors and, doesn't let insulin get through. And That's why your blood sugar goes high. It also is caused by hormone disruptors like, of course, dairy is one of them. But of course, if you're having any medicines, if you're having steroids, then you'll have to look into that. It is also caused by stress and a lack of vitamin D. Again, you need to look at those things as well. But one of the main three causes, which is the IGF, excess fat, and hormone disruptors, come from dairy itself. And here's a chart to show you how much fat content is there in dairy. As you can see, whole milk itself has 4%, about 4% fat. Cream is 30% fat. Cheese is about 35%. Butter is 77% fat. And ghee, of course, is much more. It's 80 to 90% fat. And all of this fat is without any fiber, which means that it causes more trouble. Your body is not able to assimilate it. It's not able to remove that fat without fiber. So yes, then it causes, diabetes. And I want to share with you my own mother. My mother was diabetic for 20 years. She was taking medicines. When I was a teenager, she started taking medicines. And I thought to myself, oh my God, like, why does she have to take medicines? She's completely fine. I just didn't understand the whole concept of diabetes. And I thought to myself, when I grow older, I'll of course have to also, pop these pills. And I was just petrified by that fact. But my mother is completely diabetes free now. She followed whole food plant-based lifestyle for a year, and she was able to completely get off her medicines. So I'm really, really proud of her. She in fact lost 10 kilos of weight. She's 60 plus, but she was at this age also, she was able to lose weight. She also joined a Zumba class because she's so energetic now. So and she sees the people, her age whose health is deteriorating, but she sees herself getting so much better, so much more energetic. And it's amazing what just giving up dairy can do to your body. So yes, if you know somebody with diabetes, please help them, spread this message to them, because there is a way out and they don't have to suffer and take medicines. Dairy is also linked to cancer. One of the main reasons for that is, of course, the growth hormones that are present in dairy milk, because cancer itself is a growth, and it is because of these growth hormones, as well as casein. Casein is a protein that's found in dairy and dairy products. Now, there was a study that was conducted. Now, the same study I spoke about earlier, which was the China study. There's a part there where Dr. T. Campbell, he did a test on rats. So what he did, he fed those rats milk protein. And over a period of time, over a couple of weeks, he noticed that these rats had developed tumors just within a couple of weeks. And as soon as he stopped giving them, removed the dairy, removed the milk protein from their diet, the cancers melted away, the tumors melted away. So it was like a switch. He could on and off cancer with just giving them milk protein or casein. And that was, pretty shocking to me when I read that report, when I read that. And, I was just thinking to myself, how horrible, or, why is it that, this is not spread or known to the world? And in fact, there was a protest by 10,000 doctors in the US, and they had done a protest, to have dairy products have these labels say that dairy causes cancer. Because yes, more and more people are now getting aware of the fact that, dairy is cancer causing. And there are tons and tons of reports available. If you want to learn more, there is a website called pcrm.org, Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. It's run by Dr. Neil Bernard. And you can go through the website and he'll give you, the links to all of those studies. One of the most shocking studies to me was the one, which is the most recent one, where they found that just by consuming 1/4 cup of milk a day, cow's milk a day, you increase your chances for breast cancer by 30%, And if you're having 2 to 3 cups a day, which means that you're having, milk, cheese, butter, paneer every day, you increase your chances for breast cancer by 80%. So that's, quite a bit. And now you see that cancer is so common. You see all around you. I mean, if I ask you now, if you know somebody who has cancer, everybody's going to raise their hands, right? Because we do know somebody. And it was not the case probably 20 years down the line. And this is because, because of the growth hormones present in dairy products, which are very, very, and the protein, the excess protein that comes from consuming dairy products. Dairy is also linked to other hormonal issues, of course, PCOD, PCOS. We have premature puberty. You see young girls, young girls and boys, reaching puberty quite early. Acne is another problem. It's even common in adults, but once they, move away from dairy, they can see that their skin will clear up. Hypothyroidism, they're all linked to dairy. And we at Sharan, we have many, many patients who are able to, reverse all of these ailments just by following, the principles that we recommend. Of course, there are many, many more, which I won't get into the detail, but they are all linked to dairy. So in conclusion, dairy is an immunity destroyer. There's no doubt about it. It's linked, to obesity, linked to heart disease, linked to diabetes, linked to cancer, and many other hormonal imbalances or ailments. But dairy is part of our culture, right? We say that, it's just we can't do without it, right? But that's not true. If you want health in your own hands, you can do it just like I did. And many of our facilitators and most people are able to get it off by just doing little tweaks and little changes here and there. Your general breakfast, your idli, poha, dosas, your meals, which are simple dal, so sabzi, roti, are all vegan. Actually, they don't have any dairy as such. All you need to do is remove the ghee, remove the butter, remove your dahi, and you can have a complete meal without worrying too much. It's fairly simple. Just need to do a little tweaks here and there. But you still have replacements. If you want, you can replace your curds with plant-based curds, your milks with plant-based milks. I make cakes and cookies, all of this without any dairy, without any eggs, without any oil also, and they turn out just as delicious. I don't deprive my children, don't worry. They enjoy every single thing, from cakes, cookies, dahi badas. I make dahi bada without any dairy products. And I also make ice cream, without any milk or milk products. Is kulfi, which I'll be sharing with you in a few moments. But yes, we enjoy everything under the sun, without the dairy, without the cruelty, and keeping health in our hands. We have tons and tons of recipes on our website. We have an entire page which is dedicated to dairy and meat alternatives. So you can definitely check that out if you want to learn how to make dairy alternatives at home. We also have tons of video recipes on our YouTube channel. We also have a WhatsApp, so you can get in touch with us if you have questions, or if you want to join us. We send out recipes every Saturday, and we also send out tips, health tips, and all of that through our WhatsApp, so you can join that. We do consultations. So like I said, if you know somebody who is suffering from either heart disease or cancer or diabetes, ask them to get in touch with us. We can definitely help them wherever they are in India. Now we can do it online, so it's much easier now. We conduct tons of cooking classes. So I conduct a dairy alternatives class, which you can find the information online. We do tons and tons of seminars, workshops. Currently, we're doing an immunity revolution. It's a free event. We just started today. So today was the first day, so you've not missed much. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so you will not miss much. We just started today, and if you register, you'll get the recording for today, and you can join us in tomorrow. So we're doing it every month, the end of every month. So yes, do join us in if you want to learn more about immunity and how that how this lifestyle can change your health completely. We also have lots of books and publications on our website. We have some free publications. So we have some free recipe booklets as well that you can just download in PDF. And we have tons of resources just on our website. I mean, I was able to switch over this lifestyle just by following what was there on the website. I did attend a couple of seminars by Dr. Nandita later on, but I was able to do the switch just, by myself. You really, have all the resource that you need available online. So that was the end of my presentation. Thank you. I will be setting up the demo. So I'll be sharing with you 3 recipes today. We'll be doing ghee. I know ghee is something that all of us are worried about, how will we be able to substitute ghee? So I'll show you a very simple way of making ghee at home. Then I will show you a cheese recipe, which is an nacho cheese, which I think all of us love. And I'll share a kulfi recipe in the end. So just give me a few moments to just set up. And in the meantime, if you have questions, you can, of course, post them in. My colleague Supraja will be helping out with the questions, with the answers. And of course, we'll take questions in the end after the demonstration.
Thank you so much, Vinita. I mean, all your insights were they were actually mind-opening for me as well. And I'm looking forward to the demo. I'm already watching. So yeah, we'll give you a couple of moments. Please do set up.
Sure.
Ankit, I'd like to invite our founder of Voiceless India and how, please join us and share your thoughts about the whole webinar, what's going on, and yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Panchajanya. Thank you so much, Vinita. I think it was such an enlightening presentation. Firstly, I'm just so excited to, learn about the kulfi recipe, because that is something that, a lot of us who've gone vegan would love to know about. Not that I miss it in any way, but, it's just an exciting thing to know and, be able to relish that again. But what I just want to say out here is that this is our 3rd webinar as part of this series. So we have had Dr. Nandita Shah in the first webinar, then we had Roshni Sangvi, and now we have Vinita Punjabi, who's doing the webinar. And all of them have been so different from one another, whereas all the topics were very health oriented. So we haven't yet dwelled into the environmental and ethics aspect of dairy as much. We will be doing that in the last webinar that we are having. But even though all these 3 webinars have been health oriented, I think from every webinar there's something new that we have learned. And there are so many aspects of dairy that are, I mean, it's just so disheartening to know that a product or like a food which we have been consuming for so many years has been so disadvantageous for our bodies, and of course for the animals, for the environment, and yet there is not that much awareness around this. I really love the analogy that Vinita spoke about, that about Coke having potassium, while, why would you consume Coke for potassium? You would rather consume something healthy. And I think similarly, even Roshni in our last webinar had given a similar analogy. And if I remember it correctly, it was about vitamin C, where, in which she spoke about that if you had 2 options in which an orange has vitamin C and even urine has vitamin C, which one would you consume? Right. And so it is that. So it's not, we don't I don't think anyone disagrees that maybe dairy does have certain nutrients, but it's not the healthiest source of those nutrients, right? Why would you want cardiovascular diseases? Why would you want cancers, PCOD, all of these diseases, just to consume some nutrients which you can get from a much healthier and cleaner source? So I think for me personally, health was not one of the reasons for which I switched to veganism. I switched majorly for ethical reasons, because after knowing about the cruelties in the dairy industry, and all of that, which I will be covering in the last webinar, it was just not possible for me to continue having something which is so cruel to any particular being. But I think after switching to veganism, in just the first year itself, I lost almost like 10 to 12 kgs without doing anything, like without making any extra efforts, just cutting out dairy from my lifestyle. I was vegetarian at that point in time. So yes, so I think the webinar till now has been super insightful, and just looking forward to what Vinita will be sharing with us in terms of recipes. So we're just waiting for her to get ready with the setup. It'll take maybe a minute or so, and then I think we should be good to go with the.
Ankit, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Um, so, like, you know, how all of us have this constraint of anybody who's, you know, planning to switch to vegan lifestyle, they have these hindrances or constraints saying that, oh, the resources are not available. I don't know how to, you know, find the exact alternative, which would both supplement my nutrition, also would be affordable, right? So any like Sharon, like Vinita mentioned, Sharon has a huge list of resources where people can go find anything. But any other resource that you would recommend?
I mean, now if you just Google any kind of plant-based alternative on YouTube, you would literally get tons of recipes to make at home. And when I made soy milk at home for the first time, it costed me like 9 rupees for an entire liter, which is substantially lesser than any dairy or any animal-based milk for that matter. So I think it's I mean it's just a myth that the dairy alternatives are very expensive. Yes, of course, if you go into the market, they would be expensive because of the demand and supply issue that there's obviously lesser demand for dairy alternatives right now. But the idea is that if we can make it at home, if it's healthier, cleaner, and more affordable, then why not do that? So yeah, and I think also Voiceless India has this section on our website called the Vegan Resource Sheets, where you can actually go and see the resources for your own city. So if you're in Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai, Chennai, various cities, we've covered them. Not sure exactly how many. I think 8 or 12 cities. So if you're in any of these cities in India, you can definitely get your resources over there. Get the dairy alternative brands or even meat alternative brands, and just ease your way into this transition to a cruelty-free life. So absolutely, I think there are tons of resources, and I personally don't think there's any reason for any of us to be living an unhealthy and cruelty-filled life. So yes.
Definitely agree with you. And I'm like, I had the same. In fact, you know, when I was transitioning into a vegan lifestyle, one of the biggest things that I had to leave was ice cream because I was addicted to it. So right now, I'm so enthralled when Vinita said that she's sharing the recipe for a kulfi, and I'm like,
Absolutely. So I think Vinita is ready, so we can
yeah,
Yes.
go back. Yes, great.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
lovely.
Thank you so much. Yeah. I know ice cream is something that, we all used to enjoy as before turning vegan, but it's something that you don't have to miss, and you can easily make it at home. And like Ankit said, it's much cheaper when you make it at home. So I'm going to share with you now how to make ghee at home. I know in the last seminar that you had, that question was raised on, where can we find ghee replacement. Of course, you have ghee replacements available in the market, but they're not healthy for you because of course they have fat and it's without fiber, like I said, which is very, very important. So we can easily make ghee at home. It's very, very simple. I'll be using something called as desiccated coconut. This is just dry coconut. You can find it in your easily in your grocery store. So this is desiccated coconut, even called copra. It's just dry coconut which has been made into a powder. So all I'm going to do is just take this dry coconut and I'm going to put it in my jar. So this is a small chutney jar which I'm using. It make sure that your grinder is completely dry, and of course you're just using this one ingredient for this recipe. It's just simply one ingredient. Now it's good to use a good organic desiccated coconut. So today I'm using the Pure and Sure one, but of course you can use any brand that you like. I'm just going to fill it up a little more. So make sure that you fill up your grinder jar at least 3/4 of the way full. And you can use, of course, like I said, any good organic brand. Now it's very important that you use an organic one because that makes your butter come out very easily. All I'm going to do is just close the jar and I'm going to blend this. So it just takes a couple of minutes. You just have to be a little patient with this. Okay, so our coconut ghee is ready. And as you can see, within a few, not even a minute, I think, it just turned into this butter. So I just want to show it to you up close. Yeah. You can see how flowy and runny it is, just like ghee. Of course, it doesn't taste, it has a little coconut aftertaste. But again, you're just adding a little bit to your foods just to bring out the oiliness. So you can see it's lovely and flowy like this. And you can store this in your pantry easily for 3 months, up to 3 months. It stays really well. You will notice after some time that, the oils will separate, the fiber will, settle down and the oil will come on top. All you need to do is just give it a good mix, before you use it in your recipes. You can easily put this, on your rotis or parathas. You can put this on top of your dals. We do not recommend that you cook with this. It's just something that you can put on top to add some, element of oil or that ghee sort of flavor if you like. So yeah, so easy. And I use this, also in my cookies and cakes. Wherever I need an oil replacement or a butter replacement, I use this coconut butter in, like I said, cookies, cakes, laddus. I make laddus out of, dates, and sometimes I use this coconut butter just to give it that binding. So you do not need ghee at all. You can easily make it at home, and you saw how easy it was, to do that. So that's how the ghee is done. And now we'll move on to the cheese recipe. So I'm making a very simple nacho cheese. The recipe for the coconut butter is there on our website. And also for this nacho cheese, you will find the recipe on our website. It's just simple, a few ingredients that go into it. I'm using some steamed potatoes. So these are potatoes where I've just chopped into cubes like this, and I am just, I've kept the skin on. Now, the reason that we keep the skin on is that, we want the fiber. Dr. Nandita always says that, you eat your foods as nature intended it to be. So we eat it in their whole form as far as possible. So we do not peel our fruits and vegetables, wherever we don't need to. Of course, we peel our bananas, we peel the watermelon, or we peel papaya. But apart from that, we try not to peel, our vegetables wherever the skin is thin and can be easily eaten. So these are the potatoes, and I'm just putting them into my blender. So these are just steamed potatoes. I've cooked them till they're very soft. Okay. And in the recipe, we've used carrots, but today I'm using pumpkin. Again, this is just steamed pumpkin. This is just for some color and a little bit of sweetness. I'm using some onion and garlic. Now, of course, if you do not want to use onion or garlic, you can replace this with celery, or you can completely skip it also. It's just for some flavor. And I'm just using some chili flakes and salt. Of course, it depends. If you don't want it spicy, you can leave out the chili flakes. But yeah, I like to add a little bit of spice. Now, cheese was something that, was very hard for me to give up because cheese is really, really addictive. And if you are finding it hard to give up cheese, then you know that, it's a substance that is you are addicted to. And you can easily make replacements. Of course, it tastes a little different, but if you don't, if you want to, you can try different kinds of cheese recipes. We have tons on our website. But this is a simple nacho cheese, that you can make at home for your kids. So here I have plant milk. This is oat milk. You can use any kind of milk. Now, to make plant milks, I would suggest that you can take any sort of nuts or seeds, and you just take 4 times the quantity of water. So for example, if you're taking 1 cup of cashews, take 4 times the water. If you're taking 1 cup of sesame seeds, take 4 times or 4 cups of water. Similarly, you can make milks with oats. You can make it with coconut. You can make it, with walnuts, almonds. Some nuts have a very mild flavor, like cashews and almonds have a much milder flavor. But some seeds, for example, if you're using pumpkin seeds or sunflower seeds, even sesame seeds have a little stronger flavor. So you can either combine the two. You can combine nuts and seeds together, or you can make only nut milk or only seed milk. But just be mindful that, of course, they have their own flavors as well. Coconut also has its own distinct flavor. And of course, oat also has its own flavor. Now at Sharan, we do not recommend that you strain your milks, but of course, if you're using them, for milkshakes, or if you're using them in your tea and coffee, then of course you need to strain them so you don't get the bits of fiber. But if you're using it in your daily cooking, like if you're making curries, or if you're making cakes or cookies, I would recommend that you just add it with the fiber, because then you just get more of the fiber. And so here I'm adding oat milk, okay, just to help blend everything together. And I'm adding lemon juice, just to give it a little bit of tang. And here I have some jalapenos, just some, they are just soaked in vinegar. So I make these at home. I'm just adding a little bit just for some flavor, but you can skip this completely. The recipe doesn't have this, but that's just a little of my own touch that I do. So I'm just going to blend all of this together. And here we have our cheese ready. So you can see it's got that yellow tinge. You can add some turmeric too if you want to make it a little more yellow. And it's nice and smooth and creamy. Yeah, it's honestly, I've given this to non-vegans, and they couldn't make out the difference. It's very, very delicious. So you must try it. And here I have some baked potatoes. So these are just potatoes that have been air fried. Again, we have a recipe on our website if you want to learn how to make your fries oil-free. And I'm just going to pour on some of this cheese on top. How simple is this? Of course, you can serve this warm or cold as you like it. It has a little bit of stretchiness in it because of the potatoes. Yeah, so this turns out really, really nice. It's a good substitute. I remember I used to go just to the movie theater just to have, nachos. But yeah, I'm just topping it with some of the jalapenos. And there you have it, a very simple nacho cheese recipe, just a few ingredients, and of course, much, much cheaper. You're just using potatoes and carrots or pumpkin, and you have a delicious cheese ready. Now, if you want to make this a little more rich, you can add soaked cashews. And that's another form of cheese that we make. We make a cashew cheese. This is one of the most simple cheese recipes that we have on our website. And if you want to start off making cheese, then I would recommend that you start with this recipe. It's a very simple one also. So all you need to do is take some cashews, So here I have, just cashews. What you do is you soak them for at least 6 to 8 hours till they're soft and they're plump. And then you blend it with a little bit of water and you have a cashew cream. Now this cashew cream you can use in, to top your curries, or, if you want, if you're making dal makhni, for example, you can put it on top. If you're making something like, a tofu makhan wala, then you can add some of this cream just to give it that creaminess. If you're making an Alfredo sauce, for example, you can add, this cashew cream. It'll give, if you're making a bechamel sauce, for example, again, you can use this cashew cream. So it's very, very versatile. So what I do is that I make the cashew cream in advance and I just freeze it in an ice cube tray, and I can use it whenever I need to. So that's a very convenient way of doing it. And of course, this cashew cream can be converted to cheese. So what you do is you put your cashew cream in a jar like this, and what you do is you just keep your jar slightly open and leave this to ferment. So leave your cashew cream to ferment overnight. I would recommend 8 to 10 hours. And it's ready when you start seeing, bubble formation. You'll start seeing this sort of net formation, okay? And it'll start smelling a bit sour. It'll start smelling like cheese, actually. You'll have that, fermentation smell. And it's ready. So all you need to do, then you just put the lid back on and you put it in your refrigerator. And whenever you need cheese, so you just take out some of this and you just add some salt, add some flavorings if you like, and you just put it on, your sandwiches as a spread. It even bakes really well. So what I like to do with this is that I just add some chopped bell peppers, some onions, some green chilies, some coriander, and I give it a good mix. And I just spread it on some bread, and I make chili cheese toast. So here I have made them today. This is a favorite in my family. We honestly don't miss the cheese at all. You can see, it turns out really, really nice. And you can see the cheese browns just like dairy cheese. You can, we don't miss a thing. It browns really, really well. So if you want to make things like lasagna or pasta, even pizza, you can use this cheese there. So if you're making pizza, what you can do is just put your toppings and then just put some dollops of this cheese on top. You can add some herbs and some salt, and then just put some dollops on top of your pizza, and you have your pizza done. So you can see how easy it is to make this cheese at home. Again, so much more cheaper than store-bought cheese, and so much more healthier for you because there's no added fillers, no preservatives, no chemicals added to it, which are actually really, really bad for you. And the last recipe that I'm sharing is the kulfi recipe. So it's very easy to make ice cream at home. Of course, you can make, fruit ice creams. You can make fruit lollies. So if you like mango, lychee, you can just add some coconut milk to it, and you can make ice lollies with it. It's very, very simple. But I'll be sharing with you a kulfi recipe. This turns out really, really delicious. And it's very simple to put together. So I have just a few ingredients here. I have some rolled oats. You can also take, the whole oats, the steel cut oats. So these are just rolled oats that I have. And here I have soaked cashew nuts. Now you can make this entirely with oats, or you can make it entirely with cashews as well. But I like this combination because cashews just give a little bit of, fattiness and a little bit of richness. And the oats just act like a base, to this ice cream. I'm using some water, and for the sweetener, I'm using dates because we don't recommend any processed foods. So we don't recommend any sugar, white sugar. So it's best to go with something like dates. You can even use figs, apricots, any sort of natural sweetener works really well. And I'm using some cardamom pods, elaichi, just for some flavor. I also have a little bit of rose water here. This is just rose petals, which I've soaked in water, just to give a little bit of rose flavor, but this is completely optional. You can, of course, add saffron if you like here. So that's it. That's all the ingredients you need. And this is like a perfect ice cream base. So here I'm adding elaichi. Instead of elaichi, you can add, cocoa powder, and you can make it a chocolate ice cream. If you want, you can add vanilla and you can make it like a vanilla ice cream. If you want, you can make it a chiku ice cream by adding some chikus. Lychees in season now. You can add lychees or cherries. Any sort of flavorings that you enjoy or you like. I also make a caramel sauce sometimes. So what I do is I'll make like a simple ice cream like this, just a plain ice cream, and then I'll top it with just some dates blended with some coconut milk. So if you just blend dates with coconut milk, you get a lovely caramel sauce, and you can use that as your topping. So that's another idea. So I'm just adding the cardamom and I'm adding the dates. Now these are 4 large dates. These are pretty large dates. But if you're using smaller dates, of course, you can use double the quantity. So you can go with 8 dates. So I'm just adding all the ingredients in the blender. Instead of the water, you can also add coconut milk if you prefer any kind of plant milk. But just plain water works fine as well. And all I'm going to do is just blend all of this together. Okay. So you have a nice, lovely, creamy paste ready. So this is how it looks like. It's nice and creamy and smooth. And yeah, so if you don't want to, freeze this as kulfi, you can also use it as a rabdi. So what you can do is just thin this out a little bit more with some coconut milk or some any other plant milk, and you have a delicious, rabdi ready. You can, substitute it there. Like I said, this is a good base to use for any kind of ice cream that you want. You can flavor it as you like. Now, I sometimes set my kulfi in something like this. I will just line this with parchment paper so that it easily comes off, and I will just freeze it in this. Or you could use, of course, you could use something like, a popsicle mold, and you could make individual popsicles. If you have a kulfi mold, you can, use that as well. So as you can see, it was so simple and so easy to make. Let me just show you how the kulfi looks like, when it's ready. So just give me a second to get it from the freezer. I'll just be back in a second.
Question about vitamin D and vitamin B12 coming from natural sources. I'm just trying to fill up while Vanita comes back. Vanita, you might want to just answer the question about vitamin D and B12, which was asked during the chat. Yeah.
Okay, sure. So, so this is how it looks like once it's ready. Yeah, it turns out really, really yummy. It's very, very creamy and delicious. It's right out of the freezer, so it's a little hard, but I promise you, it's very, very creamy. It doesn't even form into ice. There's no ice crystallization because the mixture to start with is quite thick and creamy. So you have to make sure that your mixture is thick like this, to set into lovely kulfi. I've honestly given this to again non-vegans, and they've completely been amazed by how delicious and how close it tastes to dairy ice cream. I'm sure you're not going to miss a thing once you try this. So yeah, we can go to the question and answers right now. So about B12 and D3, we have
The question,
first of all,
question was The question was, do
Yeah.
we need supplements if we can get vitamins B12 and D3 through natural sources?
So again, you need to get your levels checked. The first thing you need to do is get your levels checked. Most likely, you will be low because we're not able to get B12 and D3 through our food, through natural sources. So if your levels are low, it's always good to supplement. And that's why, Sharon, we recommend that you supplement them, and so that you never are deficient in these two vitamins. Yeah. I hope that answers.
I just like to add, I'd just like to add that, because of the kind of environment that we live in, with the pollution and all, even though we want to get exposed to sunlight and try and take in natural vitamin D, the absorption or the body does not kind of make the correct amount that is required. So like Vinita said, it's always good to check your levels and supplement. And vitamin D especially is hormonal in nature, so it impacts a lot of hormones, hormonal related illnesses, especially like diabetes and thyroid related issues and all of that. And B12 is synthesized by bacteria, and because of the chemicals and radiation in our lives, a lot of the good bacteria also get destroyed. So it's good to check and supplement it if you're deficient in this. Thank you.
Thank you, Supraja. Yes. If there are more questions regarding the recipes or anything, I'll be happy to answer.
Sure. So first of all, thank you so much for sharing all
No
these recipes.
problem.
Like I feel like just running right into the kitchen and making it right now. So first question I'll start off with asking you is that often since you do not recommend processed food, like that's something you've made clear to us, but then still there is some hesitation in people when they should try going out and buying these vegan resources like cashew milk or anything of that sort. So it always comes in a plastic or a tetra packaging. So
Correct.
does it compromise on health? And if yes, what are the alternatives?
So yes, it does, because obviously, it comes in Tetra Pak. The plastic, of course, leaches a little bit, and um, once in a while it's okay, if you don't have any other option, you really want to buy, but I would say that very easily you can make it at home. Like I said, you just take 1 cup of cashews, you soak it for 6 to 8 hours, and you just add a little bit of water first, blend it to a paste, and then add the rest of the water. So total of 4 cups water you can use for 1 cup of cashews, and you will get almost a liter of milk from that 1 cup. So you get quite a lot of milk from a little bit. If you just want to make 1 glass, you can use 5 to 6, or if you're taking almonds, you can use about 7 to 8 almonds, and you get a good amount of milk. So it's very easy to make at home. So yeah, we do recommend that you stay away from packaged foods, for the same reason that of course the plastic is there, but also they add a lot of additives, chemicals. They add gums in it, just so that it doesn't split very easily. If you make these milks at home, you will notice that they're quite alkaline, and if you add anything acidic to it, they easily split. So but it's so convenient and easy to make at home. In fact, we're having a whole session on why processed foods can be harmful for you in our immunity revolution. So if you follow us and if you follow that, then you'll be able to learn about more about processed foods and why they're so harmful.
That's great. Thank you. So there's another disease-specific question, which is like, does consuming animal milk or products contribute to a cause of psoriasis, the skin disease that happens with
Yes.
HNS?
Yes, I think there is a connection, and probably Supraja can add to this as well. My father also had psoriasis. He had it between between his fingers here and on his legs. But after switching to mostly plant-based diet, he's not completely there, but mostly plant-based, and especially giving up dairy, he is able to see his skin clear up. We also have someone on our team whose daughter had. For many years she had it on her head. In fact, her scalp was full of it, but she was able to reverse it on a plant-based diet, which is pretty amazing, right? So I think, yes, of course there is a connection. And Supraja, if you would like to add to that, then
Yeah, so psoriasis is an autoimmune condition, and we have a lot of cases where not just psoriasis, but even things like vitiligo and lupus and multiple sclerosis, ankylosing spondylitis, a lot of autoimmune conditions. If it's not in the later stages, have seen a lot of benefits, and many people have even been able to reverse. So psoriasis is definitely possible. Of course, it depends on which stage and how severe the condition is, but even if it's not completely reversible, there is a lot of improvement. The quality of life definitely in autoimmune conditions can be significantly enhanced if you're on a whole plant-based diet.
Yeah. Thank you, Supraja.
Thank you, Supraja. So the next question is like curd, especially the dairy curd, is considered to be very high on probiotics. So someone's asking, what are some vegan or plant-based, sources of probiotics?
Okay, so first of all, I like to clear that you don't really. It's a big myth that is there that we need probiotics for a healthy gut. Of course, probiotics do help, but if you're having a varied diet, a very well balanced diet, and you're having foods that are rich in fiber, you automatically get your prebiotics and therefore probiotics. You really don't need to supplement with probiotics. But for when it comes to dairy alternatives, you can of course make curd. So I make curd at home. In fact, I had it here, but I forgot to show you. I make cashew curd at home, which is cashew and oat curd. So it's it comes out just like dairy curd. It's quite thick and creamy. So I make it at home. And if you want to see how it's made, we have a recipe video on our YouTube channel, and you can go under our Sanjeev Kapoor playlist, and we have a video there. But the other forms of probiotics, of course, fermented foods. You can make things like kanji. You can make pickles. You can make sauerkraut. You can include fermented foods and can get probiotics very easily on a plant-based lifestyle. But like I said, as long as you're having a varied and a very well-balanced diet, rich in fiber, then you don't need to worry about probiotics as well.
Okay,
So
that's
I
great.
hope that answers. Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you so much. Just one last question. Does consuming dairy products cause an imbalance in bodily function, like, fluctuations in the hormone level specifically?
Yes, like I mentioned earlier, milk itself or dairy products itself, is has a lot of growth hormones because it is meant to make a baby calf grow. So it is actually just growth fluid, and when we put it in as when we as adults, and we really don't need, our bodies don't need it, it of course causes hormonal imbalance, and it causes a host of other problems. So yes, dairy products of course have a direct relationship there, and other dairy products like curd and butter and cheese, they are more concentrated versions of these hormones, and so they're even more harmful.
Right. So now that we're nearing the conclusion of such a wonderful session, I'd like to mention, for all those people whose questions have been left unanswered, we'll have them mailed back to you by getting the answers from our facilitators. So don't you worry about that. And it's primarily due to the time constraints. So yeah, and this was a truly marvelous session, like absolutely amazing. And like I'm reiterating the fact that I really just want to run right into my kitchen and make those kulfis and the butter and everything. So yeah, and I'm so grateful. Each and every one of us at Voiceless India is so grateful to have you here, Miss Vinita and Miss Supraja. Thank you so much for joining us today, and also like to thank each and every one of you attending this webinar in the audience.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having us in this collaboration, and congratulations on the campaign, on a successful campaign. So congratulations to you and the team. So yeah, great going, and I hope we're able to spread this message even wider and further. So thank you all for joining in, and yes, you can of course get in touch with us. Like I mentioned, you can get in touch through email or through our other resources. So thank you so much.
Thank you. So So I just have a quick announcement to make for everyone. We have another webinar scheduled on the 3rd of July, and it will be facilitated by one of the most compassionate people I know and the founder of Voiceless India, Mr. Ankit Puri. And yeah, it's titled Let's Talk Dairy. And it's like I mentioned, it's scheduled on the 3rd of July. So it'll give you a deeper understanding of what the dairy industry is hiding from us and how consuming dairy impacts the environment as well. So, Ankit, would you like to share a couple of words about it?
Thank you so much, Panchajanya. That was really sweet. And really, thank you so much, Vinita and Supraja, for taking this session. I was seeing Supraja was answering all the questions in the chat. And we're so glad to have both of you for this session. And I think the recipes are just mouthwatering. The kulfi is definitely something that I am going to try, as Panchajanya also said that she's also going to try it. So we are definitely trying that, because I think kulfi is just marvelous when it's in its plant-based form. So thank you so much. Again, it's been a wonderful collaboration with Sharan. We've had 2 webinars, and along with the webinars, we've had articles going up with Sharan. We've had, social media collaborations with them. So I think it's just fabulous to be working with them for this campaign. And we really hope that in the future, we can also collaborate on other campaigns that we are doing. I would just like to say that so throughout the last 3 webinars, we have been focusing a lot on the health aspect. So with Sharan, we were focusing on the health aspect. With Roshni Sangvi, we did the health aspect. And lastly, because we, of course, will never leave out the cruelty aspect and the environmental aspect of the dairy industry. That's why we are doing the last webinar on 3rd of July. To bring in a holistic overview of why we are running this campaign, because a lot of people might ask that, okay, it's not good for our health, but what's the impact on the animals, what's the impact on the environment? So we don't want to leave any stone unturned, and that's why we are doing the last webinar on the 3rd of July. So please do join in that. Also, we will be sharing the links with all of you who have subscribed to our newsletter or who have joined our WhatsApp groups. So please do stay tuned to that. And thank you so much, Panchajanya. You've moderated it really, really well. And it's, of course, been a pleasure to just witness the entire session. So, and thank you so much to all the participants, of course, for joining in, because I think without you all, the session wouldn't have been as impactful as it has been. So thank you so much.
Definitely. Thank you, Ankit. Thank you so much. And a big, big, big shout out to Sharan, because they've been supportive in so many of our initiatives, and I'm really grateful for that. So, like Ankit mentioned, the link for the registration will be open. So stay tuned and updated on all our social media platforms. You can find us at @Voiceless India, and Sharan as Sharan India on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everything. So yeah, follow us there. And also, if you've not joined our WhatsApp groups, please join in quickly, because both Sharan and us have broadcast groups which you can join, where we share recipes, articles, and everything about what we do, so that you can gather resources and benefit from it. So all of Voiceless India's webinars, our workshops, and our initiatives are free of charge. So if you'd like to contribute towards our projects, feel free to contribute using the link in the chat box. So yeah, hoping to see you in our next webinar. Until then, take care and stay safe, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a great evening. Thank you so much, Vinita and Supraja, for joining us today. It was wonderful having you here.
It was wonderful too. Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.